My marriage ended the day Jack looked me in the eyes and said, "I don't need a life with you anymore. I'm inheriting $5 million. I don't need you when I have that money." His words were cold and heartless. Just like that, everything we had built together started to fall apart. We had lived together for so many years. I supported him, stood by his side through thick and thin, but in the end, I felt like I had become nothing more than an obstacle to him. He was chasing after money now, and he didn't care who got hurt along the way. But what he didn't know was that the inheritance he was so eager to receive had a hidden secret tied to it. One day, my daughter Sophie came up to me with a serious look on her face. "Mom, is it true that Grandpa is really sick?" she asked. Her question caught me off guard. Jack's father, Ethan, had been struggling with his health, but only Jack and I were supposed to know that. "Did your dad tell you that?" I asked carefully. "Yes, he called me and told me I should give up any claim to Grandpa's inheritance," she said. Her words shook me. Why would Jack ask Sophie to do something like that? Not long after that conversation, Ethan passed away peacefully. I had been living in Jack's parents' house since our marriage. I took care of his parents, especially during their later years when their health started failing. Jack's mother had passed away 5 years ago, and now, with Ethan gone too, I thought maybe life would slow down and give me some peace. But instead, Jack's attitude changed completely. He started criticizing everything I did. "What's this mess? Why isn't the house cleaned properly?" he snapped one day. "I'm sorry, I must have missed a spot. I'll clean it now," I replied quietly. But it wasn't just about cleaning. "What kind of food is this? Can't you pay attention to the taste when you cook?" he complained another evening. These were the same dishes he used to love. Now nothing seemed to please him. I finally asked him, "Is something bothering you?" That only made things worse. "To be honest, your cooking's always been bad," he said coldly. "I only put up with it because my parents never complained, but I've always thought it was tasteless." His words hit me like a slap. It was the first time he had criticized me so harshly. "My mom always did everything perfectly. She cooked with care, cleaned every corner. You're nothing like her." "I've had enough," he added. That comparison to his mother stung deeply. I stood there quietly, trying not to cry. "I'm sorry, I didn't know you felt this way," I whispered. But tears started falling before I could stop them. "Crying won't change anything," Jack said coldly. "Don't show me your tears, they don't mean anything to me anymore." Then he stormed out of the house, slamming the door behind him. I ran after him, calling, "Jack, where are you going? Come back." But he didn't turn around. It was like he couldn't hear me at all. I couldn't understand how we had gotten here. Just a few months ago, we were laughing together, holding hands, facing life as a team. Now he looked at me like I was nothing. I remembered Sophie's call and how she said Jack wanted her to give up the inheritance. There was hesitation in her voice that day. Jack had come home late that night, and I never got the chance to ask him about it. But now I couldn't help but wonder, was he planning to take all the money and leave me behind? The thought made my chest hurt. I tried to ask Sophie more about it. She told me she found it strange that Jack talked about inheritance while Grandpa was still alive. She said she had told him she didn't agree with it. She also mentioned something else. If the inheritance wasn't split, it would all go to Jack. That explained why he had been acting so distant, not just with me, but with Sophie too. Maybe he didn't want either of us to get in the way. Just then, the phone rang. I didn't feel like answering, but when I saw Jack's name on the screen, I picked it up reluctantly. "What are you doing? Don't keep me waiting. I'm running out of time," he barked. His voice was sharp and impatient, unlike the Jack I used to know. "What's going on?" I asked. "I'll be home soon. We need to talk." "Stay there," he said and hung up. 3 hours later, he finally came home. As he stepped in, I noticed the scent of a sweet body wash, one we didn't use in our house. That unfamiliar smell made my heart sink. Jack didn't even sit down. "I'll get to the point. It's over. I want a divorce. I'll give you $220,000 as a thank you gift. I'm tired of your poor housekeeping. I just want peace in my old age," he said, emotionless. Just like that, 40 years of marriage were dismissed. Before I could even respond, his phone rang. The ringtone was unfamiliar, different from his usual one. He answered the call with a surprisingly soft and gentle tone. That tone was never meant for me, it was for someone else. "I'm sorry, I haven't finished my errands yet," he said kindly into the phone. When he hung up, his eyes were cold again. I need you to sign these divorce papers. I'll be in touch. Oh, and the house, it's yours now, he said and left. I stood there, stunned. What had all our years together meant to him? Was I so easy to forget? A few days later, I met with a lawyer named Robinson. Sophie had introduced us, and together we started looking into Jack's actions and the inheritance. We discovered that Jack would get the full $5 million now that Sophie had renounced her claim. But we also found something else. He was having an affair with a woman named Jennifer. Robinson asked me gently, "How would you like to move forward?" "Thank you," I said, my voice trembling. "Thank you for helping me." 5 days later, Jack called and asked to meet. We agreed to talk at a quiet cafe. I got there early and took a seat by the window. Then Jack walked in, with Jennifer by his side. "Are you ready for the divorce?" he said smugly. I was shocked. I couldn't believe he brought her here. "This is Jennifer," he said. "She's my new partner." Jennifer smiled sweetly. "I've heard so much about you. Seeing you now, you do look older. I'm surprised Jack stayed with you this long. I kind of feel bad for him." Her words stung, but I stayed quiet. Jennifer was well-groomed and clearly younger looking. She took pride in it. I looked at her and then at Jack. Maybe he had always been this way. Maybe I just didn't see it. But now I did. And I was ready to fight for what I deserved. I couldn't believe how she said it. The words stung. "Jennifer, it's those habits of yours I warned you about," Linda said with a calm voice. "But if it were me, I would have treated you better. I would have cherished you." I didn't want to argue anymore. I was exhausted, mentally and emotionally. "I know, Linda," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "I don't want you to overthink this anymore. I just want you to file the divorce papers." But then Jack spoke up. "Wait," he said, "there's something I want to talk about." His voice caught me off guard. I turned to look at him, surprised by his serious tone. "What are you trying to say?" I asked. Jack looked confused, maybe even hurt. "Is this about your father's inheritance?" he asked. "Is that why you're suddenly ending things after all these years?" I was stunned by what he said. I needed to know the truth. Why was he bringing up my father now? "My father's inheritance has nothing to do with you," I said. "That's between me and my family. It was never yours to claim." "But I heard about it," he said. "Sophie told me. I know how much it's worth." "So what?" I shot back. "It still doesn't belong to you." Jack hesitated, then looked away. "Fine, but honestly, more than the inheritance, I just don't want to carry the burden of caring for my parents anymore. That's one of the reasons I want this divorce." Those words hit me like a punch in the chest. So all I ever was to him was a caregiver, not a partner, not someone he loved. I didn't even have the strength to cry anymore. "Let's move this along, Jack," I said coldly. "I want to start a new life. And you, have you still not let go of Jennifer?" He looked at me but didn't answer. "Don't make me say it again," I said. "I'm not trying to restart anything with you. I just want this to be over. File the divorce papers." My hands were shaking, but I stayed firm. I reached into my bag and pulled out the divorce documents. "Here," I said, holding them out. "You remember what you promised me, the house and the money?" He looked at the papers and gave a slow nod. "Yes, I said I'd give you the house and the money. I'm a man of my word." That part surprised me, but I wasn't going to let him off so easily. "You say you're kind," I told him, "but a kind man wouldn't have used his wife like a nurse and thrown her away. So I'm asking for $30,000, along with the rights to the house." "What?" he said. "I thought we agreed on $20,000. You're always changing things at the last minute. You just want to squeeze every last cent out of me." "That extra $10,000 means a lot to me," I replied. "It's not just money, it's compensation for everything you put me through." I took a breath, then added, "Your girlfriend, Jennifer, right?" I thought about asking her for it too, but instead, "I'll settle for $30,000 from you. I'll sign the divorce papers right here and now." Jennifer, who had been quietly watching, finally spoke. $30,000 sounds fair. Just pay it, Jack." With that, Jack agreed. I turned to him again. "Now we need your signature on the land title documents Mrs. Robinson prepared, and the notarized alimony agreement." He looked surprised that I had everything ready, but I stayed calm. "I have a life to move on with," I said. We both took out our seals and pressed them onto the documents. Jack smiled like he had a secret. "So, Linda, he said. Are you going to sign the divorce papers now? Yes, I answered. I picked up the pen, wrote my name carefully, and stamped it. It was done. And then Jack started laughing, loud and cruel. Well, that's that, he said. You and I have no connection anymore, and just so you know, I'm going to inherit $5 million. I don't need someone like you anymore. You really thought I cared? You let me go for just $30,000. What a fool you are. I stood there in silence as Jack and Jennifer laughed behind me. I didn't say anything. I just picked up my bag and walked out. I went straight to City Hall. All I wanted was to finish the paperwork and never look back. They were laughing now, sure, but I wondered how long that laughter would last. 1 month later, I sold the house Jack gave me and used the money to start fresh. I decided to move closer to Sophie, my daughter. She and her husband were moving near his parents, and I wanted to be nearby too. I was a bit worried, since Jack's mother lived in the area, but Sophie's husband was kind and welcoming. He made me feel safe. At first, Sophie was angry when I told her what Jack did, but then I shared something else with her, something that changed her mood completely. She smiled when I told her. And I had a feeling Jack would figure things out soon. I didn't even change my phone number, just in case. It didn't take long. One afternoon, my phone started ringing again and again. It was Jack. I ignored it at first, but after a while, I picked up. Hello? Why are you doing this? Jack said. His voice was tense. What are you talking about? You're the one calling out of nowhere. Where are you right now? I figured he went back to our old house, but that house was already sold. A new family might have moved in, or maybe it was empty. I imagined him standing outside the house, confused and desperate. For a brief second, I felt a little sorry for him. We're divorced, Jack, I said. There's no need for you to be in contact. Sophie's gone. Where is she? I can't find her. So he had gone to her old house, but she wasn't there, and he had no way of knowing where she went. I had managed all the details about her move and her husband's family, and Jack had been left out. Yes, Sophie moved, I told him. Why didn't you tell me something that important? He asked. Did you know about this the whole time? I could tell he was finally catching on. You're talking about Ethan's debt, aren't you? That was Sophie's father-in-law. When I looked into his estate, I found out he had a lot of hidden debt. He probably thought he could pay it off with his $5 million, but he died before he could. That debt had been passed on. And when someone inherits money, they also inherit the debts. Jack didn't check. He was too blinded by the idea of easy money. So you knew? Jack asked. You knew about the debt? Yes, I said. It wasn't hard to find. I looked into it, something you should have done. I imagined him turning red on the other end of the line. What about the money? He suddenly asked. The money you said you'd return? Ah, so that was it. It always came back to money. He added, if I'd known about that debt, I never would have gotten involved. I didn't say anything, I just let him talk. You know, I said, you did end up marrying a beautiful woman. That's something, right? He was quiet. But then he said it. Linda, can we start over? I feel like Jennifer tricked me. She's gone now, and I realized, you're the one I really need. His voice was lower now, full of emotion. I'm being chased by collectors. The debt is too much. I feel like I'm going to break. Please, help me. I took a deep breath and thought, if I were in that position, would Jack help me? We both knew the answer. I'm living peacefully now, I said, and I'm happy. I want to keep living that way. He was quiet again. Remember what I told you before? I said. Back then? He asked. Yes, Jack, I'm truly grateful we got divorced. Thank you for giving me a chance to choose a better life. I could hear the trembling in his voice, maybe even tears. But I had already made up my mind. I ended the call quietly. And with that, our relationship was truly over. I don't know where Jack is now, or what he's doing about his debt, but I hope, somewhere deep inside, he's learning from it.